guys, so in this video today, I want to specifically encourage those of you that have a rhema promise from the Lord and you are in the waiting process of that promise to be fulfilled. I want to encourage you from John 11. So John 11 starts off by saying, Mary was the one who would anoint Jesus' feet with costly perfume and dry his feet with her long hair. So specifically to those of you that have been at his feet, to those of you that have been seeking him, that have been in his presence, that have remained at his feet, that are believing for a word that he has spoken to you to come to pass. I want to specifically encourage you guys. So it says, one day Lazarus became very sick to the point of death. So his sisters sent a message to Jesus, Lord, our brother Lazarus, the one you love, is very sick. Please come. When he heard this, he said, this is so beautiful, you guys. Jesus said, this sickness will not end in death for Lazarus, but will bring glory and praise to God. This will reveal the greatness of the Son of God by what takes place. And so I just want to stop there and just speak over that situation, that this will reveal the greatness of the Son of God by what takes place. Like, you guys, he is not a man that he should lie, and what he has spoken, he will do. And so if you have heard a promise, if you have heard a rhema promise, and it's okay if you've gone through the wrestling of, did God really say? You know, like, the enemy always comes in and tries to steal that seed. And it's normal for us to go through things like that because we're building our faith. Like, we're going through that process of really hearing his voice and discerning his voice. And so if you've had moments where you've wrestled with it, just let that be an invitation for you to enter into deeper intimacy with him and say, Lord, I really believe you said this, but I'm having these things in my heart. Like, I'm having these concerns. I'm having these doubts. Will you just pour out the wine of your spirit even more into my heart so I can become so assured and steadfast and confident in the words that you speak to me? You know, this is an invitation and an opportunity to become even more sensitive to his spirit just as we grow in hearing his voice. Now, even though Jesus loved Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, he remained where he was for 2 more days. Finally, on the 3rd day, he said to his disciples, come, it's time to go to Bethany. So there was an appointed time for Jesus to go to Bethany. There was an appointed time for redemption. There was an appointed time for resurrection. There was an appointed time for the promise to be fulfilled. And Jesus didn't remain where he was at for any other reason other than he had a glorious divine plan of redemption. He didn't make Mary wait because he's a bad father. He made Mary wait because he had a greater purpose, because he works all things together for the good that love him, to those that are called according to his purpose. And so Jesus made Mary wait because he had intention and he had purpose, and it was all working out for Mary's good. And so even if you're in that process of waiting, trust that he wants to become intertwined with you in the waiting. Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. This was an opportunity for Mary and Martha and everyone in this situation, but specifically I just want to talk about Mary right now. This was an opportunity for Mary to wait on the Lord and renew her strength so she could mount up on wings like eagles and run and not grow weary and walk and not grow faint. So just continuing in this story, Jesus said, Lazarus, our friend, has just fallen asleep. It's time that I go awaken him. And so in the midst of their doubt, Jesus just came in and he said, you guys, he's just fallen asleep. Like, this is not the end. It doesn't lead to death. I know what it looks like in the natural, but fix your eyes on me. Look in the realm of the spirit. You know, don't be dismayed. Don't be discouraged. I am with you and I have a plan. So when they heard this, the disciples replied, Lord, if he's just fallen asleep, then he'll get better. But Jesus was speaking about Lazarus' death, and the disciples presumed he was talking about natural sleep. Jesus made it plain to them, Lazarus is dead. And for your sake, I am glad I wasn't there, because now you have another opportunity to see who I am, so you will learn to trust in me. Come, let's go awaken him. So Jesus literally said, you guys, I'm glad I wasn't there, not because he's a bad father, but like I said, because he has a greater purpose and he's a good father. Because now you have another opportunity to see who I am. In the midst of what looks dark in your life right now, consider it another opportunity for you to see who he is, for you to experience him as the light of the world, as the one who brings resurrection power, as the one who brings redemption in the midst of the desert, in the midst of the wilderness. Consider it an opportunity for Jesus to come in and bring redemption and restore everything and make all things new. And I know it's really hard sometimes whenever everywhere we look seems like death, whenever everywhere we look, maybe it even seems like it's going backwards, and the Lord's given you a promise of redemption and hope and new life and resurrection and a prodigal son returning home, whatever it may be. And you were even excited about it whenever the Lord first started speaking to you. But as days go by, you're like, man, things seem like they're going backwards. Like, I have this promise from the Lord, but things seem like they're going backwards. Don't be discouraged, because it seemed like to Mary and Martha that things were going backwards. It seemed like to the disciples that things were going backwards, that Lazarus was dead. He wasn't even sick at this point, he was dead. But Jesus says, I'm glad I wasn't there, because this is an opportunity. And so I want to encourage you right now, in the moment that you are in, where you are believing for a promise to be fulfilled, where you're believing for a promise to be made manifest, that it is an opportunity for you to see his glory on display. It's an opportunity for you to learn to trust in him. It's an opportunity for you to grow in deeper intimacy with him, for you to see his glory in a way that you have not yet seen him reveal his glory. And so this whole chapter in John 11 is so rich, and we could go on here for a while, but for this video, I'm gonna end here. And I want us to just linger in this scripture in verse 15, where Jesus says, for your sake, I'm glad I wasn't there, because now you have another opportunity to see who I am, so you will learn to trust in me. You know, Jesus is not the one that comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He comes to bring life and life abundantly. It's the enemy who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But in the midst of darkness, not only has he given us power and authority in his name over all the powers of darkness, but in the midst of darkness, he is the light of the world. And whenever we see darkness, we can consider it another opportunity for us to encounter him as the light of the world. So in the midst of the process that you're in, of waiting on this promise to be fulfilled, consider it an opportunity for you to encounter him as the promise keeper. Consider the waiting an opportunity for you to become intertwined with him in a way that you have not yet known him. And so I love you guys. Don't give up. Keep going. I know waiting is hard, but there is an invitation for you to feast with the bridegroom, for you to feast on his blood, on his body, on his word, on the nature of who he is. And ultimately, he is the promise. Like, he is our reward. He is our true prize, and his presence is enough. His presence is our prize. And so if you're in covenant with him, you've already won, and you only get to go from glory to glory. And so be encouraged. I love you guys.